This season is going to be marked by service.
It's not about us anymore. It never really was to begin with. It's about serving people so well that they are transformed.
But what good is it to be consistent with something that isn't working?
This new season is requiring us to go way deeper.
People might see your name, but they're not going to remember it.
You're still just on the surface, and AI is doing that already. So what are we supposed to do now as leaders and facilitators? We're being called to go deeper.
Right now, there are so many people in the industry, and I bet people listening to this episode, you're showing up, you're checking off all the items, you're being consistent in your business, but something feels off. Something feels like it's missing. And I would say that this is in large part because there's a big shift happening in the industry right now. And the way that I would describe this is that we're shifting away from relevancy and surface level into an era of substance. So there's been this period of time where you could just show up. You could be consistent. You could stay top of mind, almost showing up in your business online to just be remembered, to just stay relevant, to just stay top of mind. And that was enough. And then we shifted into this time where leaning into your lifestyle, showcasing that, highlighting that was another stamp of I'm an expert. I'm an authority. That's what was really working in the online space. But now we're in this new time where what people are really craving and desiring is substance. We're craving significance in the people that we're interacting with, in the businesses we're investing in, and the content that we're consuming. So what has worked up until now is no longer working, and it's leaving a lot of people feeling like, I'm present, I'm doing the things, I'm checking off the items on my to-do list, I'm showing up, but it almost leaves us with this empty, hollow kind of feeling because we're lacking significance behind our work, in our content, even sometimes in our client work. And at this stage, like I said, the goal is no longer to just be relevant or stay top of mind because people are craving more. If you're just showing up with the goal of being relevant, you're going to be forgotten. People might see your name, but they're not going to remember it. People are going to consume your content, but it's not going to affect them. And it's most certainly not going to lead to an inquiry or a sale in the way that it may once have. Resonance is going to be so much more important than relevancy. Depth is going to matter much more than authority, and substance is going to matter so much more than consistent surface level content. And we're in this time where with the rise of AI and that being utilized more frequently by more people, we're in this time of such convenience and such opportunity. It is such an exciting time to be alive. And I love that you say that all the time because there are so many people that are operating from a place of fear during this time. But let's just say and claim and declare that this is a season of opportunity. We want you to feel the hope in that. But it's also a time of greater responsibility and now a higher standard, especially for creators, especially for those of us leveraging the online space to build our business. There's going to be more responsibility to actually devote ourselves to our craft, to our expertise, to our work, to take time to actually go deeper in our work so that things have more resonance, have more impact, and to facilitate at a new level for our clients, for our community. So there is this fear that often comes up in seasons like this where we don't want to stop, we don't want to pause what we've been doing because we don't want to be forgotten. We don't want to jump off the hamster wheel because we're afraid that things are going to crumble, everything's going to fall apart. But what good is it to be consistent with something that isn't working? What good is it to be present when nothing's resonating, when nothing's performing? We're in a new time, a new season, a new era, and it requires a new path forward that actually is going to be really, really powerful. One where your voice, when we learn how to harness that in your marketing, in your offers, with your community, it's going to echo after you've spoken. One where your service is no longer just going to be transactional, but it's going to be transformative. And one where your work is going to create a ripple effect of change. As we harness what you bring to the table more and more, that's going to be an incredible way for you to go deeper in your work, create more impact, and embrace this new era of time.
Yeah, there's definitely a shift happening. We're stepping into an era where we are meant to steward things exceptionally well, better than we have been. Many of us, all of us probably have gotten into this place where we're just in that hamster wheel of doing things that have worked. But when you're in a new season, when you're stepping into something new, it's time to do something new as well and really partner with this new season that we're in. Instead of trying to make things work that have worked in the past, it's time to really steward this ship well, like the ship that you are steering, this business that you're running, the way that you're living your life. I think it's requiring us, this new season is requiring us to go way deeper than we have been, deeper into ourselves, but deeper into our level of support for our clients and customers and just the people that are in our sphere of influence. It's not even just business related. It's like in our lives. Like I think this season is requiring us to go much deeper. And when we go deeper, we're going to have such a deeper impact on people and they will experience more transformation from that. I think this season has been really marked by the introduction of AI. That is such a big thing that I believe has caused quite a shift. AI has been around for much longer than we've even realized, like normal everyday people. It's been growing behind the scenes for a long time and people have been working on this for a long time. But when it really came on the scene for public use, I think it really just shook things up. And now it's causing us to step up into a newer level of service and to go deeper into that substance and bring that out. AI has kind of exposed the difference between just giving out information and really showing the transformation that we can provide as service providers. Back a few years ago, you could share so much content that was full of information, and that was how people received a lot of value. Now that AI has kind of commoditized information, it's a whole different ball game now. The kind of content that stands out now is very different from what stood out years ago. And that level of value, the value just kind of has to shift now. There was one time where the value was information, then the value was maybe more inspiration through lifestyle content. If we're talking about content, it was more lifestyle related. And now it's what do we do now? What do we do that actually will cut through the noise? Because I feel like so many people in our community, at least, have been asking this question for a while now. We have asked ourselves this question for a while now, for the past few years, maybe even. How do you cut through the noise? And I think that for a while, we were all trying to do these surface level tactics to figure out how do we cut through the noise. We just need to work on our copy. We just need to clean up this and that, and maybe even have cool imagery, which all those things are great. But instead of going within, we were really focusing on these external little shifts that we were trying to make. But I think now we're being called more than ever to go within ourselves and find that substance from within and let that seep into every area of the business, not just content, but the business as a whole, and let that really illuminate to other people what makes your business special. Let that allow you to cut through the noise. When you're coming at it from within yourself, I think that's what stands out more than ever. I think now we are in the era of substance. People can find information through AI. If you have a question about how do I do this? How do I improve my strategy if it's this way and I want to accomplish this goal? You can ask AI any question and it can help in a lot of these basic surface level ways. So that surface level sort of informational content doesn't hold the same weight that it used to. And we're being called to go deeper now and to really look within ourselves and think deeper about the way we're showing up in the business and the way we're showing up publicly in our marketing.
It's so true. The currency used to be information, and now it's transformation. Now it's how are you taking the information that you can share with people, packaging that into a methodology, into a step-by-step or into a unique process that you can facilitate for people to create transformation. And then how can you uniquely market that? How can you uniquely share that with the world? Not for the sake of, I want to be unique, but for the sake of going to that deeper place and really, like Jordan said, illuminating that deeper substance that you can bring to the table that is really the guiding force behind the work that you do. How can we cut through the noise? It's not going to be through information. It's going to be through leaving a lasting impression on people. How do you do that? You shift perspectives. You bring something new to the table. You follow your conviction. You create an environment where transformation is a byproduct inside of your containers. So it was information, it was lifestyle. And even with lifestyle, I think that there are going to be elements in your content specifically where that can come through, where people do want to know the person. They want to know the person behind the scenes because AI can't bring that, right? So we want to understand and know the person, but it's kind of been this shift from look at the life that I can live over here to now, okay, well, how can I help you create the version of success or the life that you want to live? It's really, this season is going to be marked by service, a new standard, and people are really going to be drawn to people that have a unique sound, but also that can communicate how they can serve, support, provide solutions. People aren't as impressed by information or credentials or even lifestyle, like the type of house you have, the type of car you have. That is all, everything's kind of gotten muddied within that. There's so much saturation and noise in that area now. Now people are like, okay, that's cool, but how can you help me? How can you serve and support me? So this, of course, affects the way that you're going to market your business for sure, but it's also going to have an effect on the entirety of your business because AI didn't just change how we market, it's also now changing how we facilitate within our business, within our containers. And the type of offers that may have once carried a lot of weight or excitement, or almost like I have to have this type of vibe and feeling, it just doesn't have that effect anymore. Thinking of things like scripts or kind of like done with you solutions, templates, things like that you can easily plug and play now inside of AI. How can you bring your unique approach to make these types of offers unique to you, unique to your method, unique to the substance that you can bring to the table? That's what's going to make these things stand out, not just the information itself. So we really do have to start rethinking how not just we're marketing ourselves, but how are we structuring our offers, our products, our services. We have to start pushing the boundary of creativity and innovation now, which is something that a lot of people are unwilling to do because it's hard work. It's going to take effort and energy now to go to that deeper place to create more of a unique experience inside of your services or a unique methodology that AI isn't going to come up with,
Mm-hmm. Substance is the new standard now, and that shows up in the way that you're serving people. And I think that for a long time now, I have at least felt like tired of like the surface level everything, like the surface level support, the surface level content, and like I feel like I've even put out content that is more surface level just for the sake of like getting it up, and like we've been doing this way and I just have to keep doing it. I have to keep being consistent, but I just kind of felt that ache within me that like I want to go deeper. And I think that we just feel that way in general. Like we love going deep with people, and the surface level side of things just doesn't work for us as much and doesn't satisfy me as much. And I feel like there's so many people in our community and just at large that are tired of the surface level, like tired of the way it feels. Like you don't want to keep doing this anymore. You don't want to just put out surface level content just because you're supposed to meet this quota of like putting out a certain amount of content each week. Like you're tired of surface level support behind the scenes. And I just want this to be a call to like go deeper. And like, if that means taking a break from the way you've been doing it and like disrupting the way you've been doing things for a while, like really taking the time to go deeper with yourself and like ask yourself, how do I really want to support my people? And I think that's where we should all start, is like, how do we want to offer that substance from within us in such a way that it enriches our client experience, and that our clients and customers are served so well that like, that's what matters most. And then let that kind of grow from within, that level of service, then it touches everything else, like even your content, you know? And I think this is just a call to like go deeper. Like we're done with being at the surface. And I think that AI really did create this sort of disruption, because AI can offer all the surface level stuff to you on a platter in a matter of seconds. So I think that when you're just sharing more surface level kind of things now through your marketing, it can kind of feel like, well, maybe AI just wrote that, because AI can come up with this stuff so easily. You know, I think people can see through it so much easier. And even if you came up with something yourself, it could sound like AI, because it's like you're still just on the surface, and AI is doing that already. So what are we supposed to do now as like leaders and facilitators? We're being called to go deeper.
It's so true. So much of what we see and experience now feels stale. There's no life on it. And that's something Jordan and I are in the thick of right now. How can we breathe life into every facet of our business, into our containers, into how we facilitate, into how we speak, into how we market, into the content we put out, being willing to rethink, recalibrate, reset, because doing things the same way that we've been doing them is no longer an option for us, but also just for the larger industry. You can keep doing that, but it's not going to be effective. And it's one of the reasons why, yes, this season sounds daunting, but it's a reason why I'm so excited for this season, because we're all done with it. We're all up to here with it. We're done with the surface level. We're done with endless amounts of information. Now, AI is a solution for that. But AI is never going to be a solution for the unique things that you have to bring to the table. AI is a tool that we should all be using. So we're not going to dog on AI, but we're just saying that now it's shifted the way that we have to show up and build our businesses. But it's such a time of opportunity. It's such an exciting time, because this is pushing us to raise our standard, to show up with more excellence, conviction, commitment, depth, substance, and all of that is going to lead to people being so much better served, supported, transformed.
And the thing is, AI can provide the information, but at least as it stands right now, AI cannot provide real transformation for people. And I think that is so much of the work that we feel like we're called to do, calling back to our previous episode about like, what are you called to do? What's your calling? It's like, I get lit up when I feel like I'm having direct impact on people and potentially contributing to the transformation that's happening within them. And AI can't do that. AI can provide the information, and that's great. And we can still provide information for our people. Information is fine, but like that never is going to replace the inner transformation that happens. Like when you're in the room with someone who is carrying such a presence about them. Like in the last episode, we talked about this like impartation, and just from being in the room with someone who's like walking in their calling. And I think when you're around someone like that, who is so in their calling, operating out of their calling, you're affected by that, like naturally, and you're changed by it. And AI can't create that. So like, that's, I think, what we're being called to so much right now is like, how do our experiences, our services that we're offering, like how does it genuinely help and support, but also transform people? How does it offer some sort of deeper transformation for our clients and our customers?
Yeah, I want to encourage you to think about yourself as a facilitator of an experience, of a transformation, even if you are providing a specific service or you are doing branding for someone, you're building a website. I still want you to think about yourself as a facilitator. What unique experience are you bringing? How are you creating an environment and an atmosphere where transformation happens? You can do that as a brand designer, as a coach or a consultant or a social media manager or a writer or a speaker. You can do that in any type of container. It's going to be unique to you, what you're doing, the unique gifts and strengths that you bring to the table. But I want you to think of yourself as more of a facilitator. This new era is going to be marked by powerful facilitation, powerful service, true experience, creating a true experience, going beyond the information, using that information. Information is still going to be powerful, but we have to find new ways to present that information in the way that we're supporting our clients, in the way that we're marketing, to make it fresh, to make it alive. And the easiest, best way to do that is to go deep within you. Like, we've always said that you're the differentiator, but you are even more so the differentiator now that you're not just amongst people, but now AI is really on the scene. And a lot of people are using it. More and more people are going to use it. Jordan said in the last episode, you can't put it back in the box, people. It's out. So how are we shifting and recalibrating in this new era? It isn't an option to not recalibrate. We have to rise to a new level, to a new standard. And it's also going to be a time where expertise isn't going to just be about knowing things. It's going to be about transforming things. So this knowledge can be used, but it needs to be brought to light in a different way than it has been in the past. And that should be exciting. That should be exciting to you because it's more room for creativity, for innovation, for play, for you to bring human energy, depth, excellence that AI can't bring at this stage. So it's a time of opportunity, but it's a time where things do have to change.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a time where we're transitioning from like the focus being so on us and the focus being really put onto our people and how can we serve well? How can we serve exceptionally well? Because, you know, we were talking about a minute ago, like lifestyle content, for example, and I feel like that was so influenced by influencer culture. I think a lot of business owners wanted to kind of adopt this more relaxed, laid back, like check out my life kind of like approach to invite people in. I feel like it was all with good intention of like bringing people behind the scenes into your life and making them feel a part of it. But I don't think that it's about that anymore. It's like, we're here to be service providers. We're providing a service. Let's serve our people well. Even if you're a product-based business owner, like, and you're selling product, how are you making it an experience? How are you offering some sort of transformation? It's not about us anymore. It never really was to begin with, but it's not about us. It's about serving people so well that they are transformed by that service that you provide.
It's so true. From the self to serving others, it's a huge shift that's happening right now. So what does the path forward really look like? How can we embrace this new era of time and really continue to raise our standard and show up with more excellence? Because again, like I said, consistency, relevancy, whatever weight that it held before, it will not hold if it lacks substance now. You're still obviously going to want to prioritize being consistent at some level, but not for the sake of just checking off a box, because at that point, we're not accomplishing anything. We're kind of like a cog in a machine. We're not really accomplishing anything significant. So we have to find new ways to show up, to be set apart, to raise the standard, to serve well. And one of the things I really want you to think about is getting super clear on your unique approach, methodology, strengths. So going within and really taking the time to consider, like, what are my strong areas? Like, where can I really serve well and create the most impact? That should be guiding how you facilitate, the offers you create. But it may also be a time of rethinking how you're providing your service or product. If you have been providing a service for years and years and years, maybe your process works pretty well. That's great. This could be a time to still press in and see, how can I improve this? How can I make this better? Maybe we need to create an actual signature method that you bring to the table that, number one, is going to serve and support the clients that you work with, but number two, it's going to help you cut through and pierce through when it comes to your marketing, when it comes to how you're presenting yourself, your brand, your services in a marketing capacity. So really think about, what are the unique things that you can bring to the table, and how are we articulating that in the online space?
Yeah, I think now it's more about going within and like within your operations, into your business, into the marketing realm and all of that, and just being so intentional about every piece so that each piece works beautifully together and actually does, offer a really incredible experience for the customer, but also does like cut through. I think it's all about intentionality at the root of it. And I think for so long, we just have been, all of us, I think in some way, have been on this hamster wheel of just going, and not really slowing down enough to think through, like, what are we doing? And like, are we operating with intention? I think that so many of us haven't been, and it's because we just don't know how else to do it, and like what other, like how else to like move forward. But yeah, it's just like really getting clear on like who you are. And I know that sounds so elusive, but like when you're really clear on who you are, your unique gift mix, your strengths, the things that you bring to the table, even your calling, like we talked about in the last episode, when you're so clear on that and just sure about it and confident in it, then like that will seep into the entire business, and that will naturally set you apart. That will organically help you like cut through the noise when you are so sure about you. So I think now more than ever, it's just a great time to like recalibrate, get back to like who you are. That's why this whole season is like, we're all about calling you to your roots, calling you home to who you are, so that you can operate at a new level in your business, so that you can support at a new level.
Yeah, we often think that like getting to that next level is like somehow about becoming more like someone else or doing things more like other people. And that's why so many of our episodes have been foundational to this conversation, because everything that we're talking about today, the substance behind your work, it's going to require that you have a foundation of confidence in yourself. You're on your path. You're doing the work that you're called to do. With that strong foundation in place, it's so much easier to bring depth to the table, to bring something unique and innovative to the table that can truly serve others. So we have to get clear on those foundations first and allow that to fuel absolutely everything that you're doing in your business. Just because other people, facilitators, leaders are doing something one way, even in the way that they facilitate a package or deliver a course or hold or facilitate a live experience, that doesn't mean that you need to do it the exact same way. Like, how can we start to get more creative with the work that we're doing, the environments we're creating for our community, for our students, for our clients, not just because we want to be creative, but again, coming back to that central theme of service? How can I do something unique to serve better, to leave a lasting impression, to create an environment that's designed for them to transform, to experience a change, not to just learn something, but to become, to transform in some type of way? These are the questions we need to be asking, these bigger questions. And these are the kind of standards that we need to be raising in our business.
Yeah.
Really setting a new standard of excellence when it comes to the way that you're serving, the way that you're facilitating, bringing in that human depth that is simply irreplaceable. Like, that's something that AI cannot replace, in my opinion, ever, but definitely not right now. And even look at right now, what results or what transformations are your clients experiencing, your students experiencing? If you don't see any, if you aren't happy with what you do see, something needs to change. Because like we've been hitting home on, the information alone just isn't going to be enough anymore. We have to find unique ways to present that information in a way that leads to results, in a way that leads to change. And when you can do that effectively in your programs and your containers, your business will take off, because we all know the standard for containers in the online space, courses, experiences, it's really low and it's really sad. So let's make this a happier place, okay? By raising the standard in the way that we show up and the way that we facilitate and the experience that we're providing. And there's so many ways to do that. I mean, the first way that you need to do that is just actually delivering on what you say you're going to deliver on. But even more than that, how can we improve the quality of their experience through even small things like video quality or the applications that you're using? Not all of this has to be like super creative and frou-frou. It can be some of these logistical decisions that you're making to improve the overall experience, to bring a unique spin, to really ultimately raise the standard across the industry. That's something that we really want our community to just spearhead in this season and to really claim in this season. Like, how can you go above and beyond to raise the standard in the industry, to change the standard in the industry, and to create these intentional environments where people are so deeply served that they are changed and transformed. And that alone is going to create such a ripple effect of growth for your business. So much fulfillment for you as a leader too, to see people actually really benefiting from the work that you're doing.
And how can you set a new standard when it comes to content and marketing? Like, I'm asking myself that question as well right now. We're asking ourselves that question as a team because the standard is low. Like you were saying with courses and whatnot, like the standard is low. I think the standard is low when it comes to content because unfortunately, as it stands right now, it feels like social media platforms do reward surface level content and they do reward slop. Like the easiest, most simple content usually performs pretty well because it's pretty surface level. It can cast a wide net. More people can see it. More people will like it. More people will share it. But I think that we need to show up differently in our content, like differently than we ever have before, and really operate from a new level of substance from within ourselves and service so that everything we're sharing is valuable. Like everything that I want to share from here, like from this point moving forward, is like I want it to bring some value to someone, like even if it's only one person, because I think that's how you create real, like organic growth when it comes to your marketing and when it comes to like reaching more people. If you provide value for one person and they love the one small piece of content you shared so much that they just want to share it with their friends, they like it, they comment, that creates organic growth, that sparks organic interactions. And I think that's what our community wants more than ever, more than anything, is like organic growth, organic interactions. They don't want it to feel forced. They don't want things to feel salesy. And I get that. It's like you want things to happen naturally. And I think that momentum will naturally pick up with your marketing if we start showing up at a new level in our content, in our public facing content. And maybe that means taking some time to like think through what do you need to share publicly? How do you need to share it so that your ideal customers will receive it, so they'll see it, and so they'll enjoy it, you know? Maybe it takes some time to like figure out the kinks of that, but I think we have to start showing up at a deeper level in our public facing content. And I think that that will bring a new level of like fulfillment within us as the people like creating and sharing the content. That will make us feel good about what we're sharing instead of like, I don't really feel great about that, but I'm sharing it anyway because, you know, we got to share our content, we got to put it up, and you don't really feel good about it. Like, it's going to make you feel so much better about the things that you're sharing, and people are actually going to feel that energy from you. They're going to feel like they are being supported, even by a small, short piece of content, you know? So it's just like, how can we go deeper to like an unprecedented level that we haven't been to before, even in our public facing content? So let this be like a sign that now is the time to like pivot. If you are feeling like sick and tired of it, like I have been feeling sick and tired of putting out some surface level content, maybe now is the time to like take a second to just pause and reassess and figure out unique pathways forward for yourself and your brand of like how can you show up in public facing content in a way that will support and genuinely serve your ideal customers? How can you bring value even on a small scale, even in the short form video content, whatever it may be? But like, how can we go deeper? And that might mean maybe lowering your frequency of sharing content. Like maybe you used to share Instagram posts 5 days a week. Maybe we're dialing it back to one substantial, powerful post that you feel good about. That I think is better than 5 surface level posts that you're putting up just because you feel like you have to compete with everyone else and you want to stay relevant, you want to stay top of mind. I think what's going to get you actually top of mind for people is if you create something so powerful that they're impacted by it. When they're impacted by it, then they're like, oh man, I just want to keep seeing their content. I just want to keep reading what they're putting out and listening to what they're putting out because it created such a reaction in you that now like that you're top of mind because you're creating something powerful for people. Mm-hmm. You don't just stay top of mind just because you're putting out a ton of content. That's fine. It's good to be consistent at some level. Like we want to keep showing up, but not for the sake of just checking off that box. Like it's not going to, if it's not going to genuinely serve or support anyone, maybe we need to think through whether we should share it or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also think that we have to rethink what does value look like right now and the way that we present value in content. Like I know for us, we're really asking questions like how can we share things that feel like they have life on them? How can we share from a place of conviction to pierce through, to speak to people? I think content that shifts perspectives, that creates awareness of problems, desires that people didn't realize they had, that type of content that carries more substance is going to leave more of an impact than here's 3 ways to do this, right? Or if you're going to do a 3 ways to do this, let's do a spin on that. You know, we still can create content consistently, but do it with excellence. I think there's definitely a difference between perfection and excellence. You can do something with excellence without it being perfect. But if you're harping on, you know, everything has to be monumental, everything has to be perfect, this is going to sound like a really overwhelming conversation to you. And that's not what we're trying to communicate. Not every single thing that you share may be monumental, but if it is guided by that deeper substance that you bring to the table with your brand, with your voice, it will carry a power in it. It will literally feel alive, and that will stand out so much in the feed right now, where it's side by side with a ton of content that sounds the exact same, that feels like you're literally just talking to an AI robot at this point.
Let's just do things a little bit differently. Let's like play around a little bit and get creative with it, get innovative with it. Like, how are you challenging the standards that have been set? I don't think it even takes that much right now with content to like challenge the standard, because the standard feels so low. And I think if we just start creating better content, exceptional content, if we start serving people exceptionally behind the scenes, I think that's what creates the most natural and organic momentum and growth for your business. And you'll feel good doing it because you'll feel like so aligned and alive in the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's just raise the standard across the board. That's like one of the biggest takeaways that we want you to carry from this episode. Let's just raise the standard, because we have to, but we also get to. Like, this is such an opportunity to just get more innovative, to get more creative, to really pack more of a punch with the work that you're doing, with the content that you're sharing, and coming back to that central theme of like, how are you really being intentional with the way that you're spending your time and the energy that you're putting into things? And this may lead you to a place where you need to take a pause. Like, you need to be willing to just sit still for a minute and really rethink like your brand, your services, your facilitation, your content. And in full transparency, Jordan and I are doing that at some capacity right now. We're taking a sabbatical from some of the content pieces that we've been putting out consistently for years. When I sat down and looked at how long I've consistently posted, specifically on Instagram, it's been since 2017. It's 2025. Okay. And yeah, with the exception of taking maybe a couple weeks at Christmas, there have been no breaks in content production, in presence online. And I understand the hesitation with that, because we're running businesses. So you can't necessarily just like uproot everything and like stop, marketing, selling, generating leads. And I'm not telling you to do that, but you may need to pause some of your efforts in certain areas so you can have the mental capacity to rethink your efforts. Moving for the sake of moving on a treadmill is going to get you nowhere. Without intention, going in the right direction, and really like measured efforts, intentional efforts, you're not getting anywhere anyways. So this might be a season where you take some time to give yourself space to rethink. And that's actually one of the most productive things that you can do.
Amen. It's like, I love that use of the word intention. And I feel like right now we're being called to just like look at our businesses intentionally and maybe start like removing things that aren't working, and so that we can replace it with the things that can work, And I think this is a process that just slowly is going to happen over time. But we just got to keep like chiseling away at it. And I love this quote from Michelangelo. It says, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." And I just want you to have this image in your mind. Like, when sculptors are sculpting in marble, they're chiseling away everything that does not need to be there so that the masterpiece can be revealed. Right now, I think is a time of like chiseling away what we don't need anymore, what's just not working anymore, so that we can reveal the masterpiece, the substance within that needs to really shine through. So this could take some time. And I think it's a good point to make that maybe you're not pausing everything, but maybe you pause one or two things that have been taking so much of your brain energy, so much of your mind and heart and soul. And like for us, I feel like that's been some of our content has required so much of our energy. And now it's like we're pausing just this one element just for a little while so we can really be intentional about what we're doing, so we can make intentional moves right now to get to where we want to be. So That's my recommendation for you, is just think of like what's one or two things that you could maybe set aside temporarily that will allow you the time and space to really make some intentional moves for yourself and on behalf of your business, so that your work that you do with clients and so that your content that you share actually packs a punch and actually resonates with people and actually cuts through the noise.
Most of you don't need to add. Most of you need to take away. And so often we see our value in a new strategy, in another thing, in more channels for our omnichannel marketing plan. And everything just keeps getting like more muddy and muddy and muddy the more things that you add. And I love that picture of someone chipping away or chiseling away at marble. They're actually taking away what doesn't belong, and they're taking the time to meticulously work on that for the masterpiece to reveal itself, to actually like tinker with things. This is something that I so admire in Jordan as a writer. Like, she just loves like tinkering with things. Even sometimes with some of our content, she's like, it's just not quite there. It's not quite there. And I'm like, oh, can we just be done? Like, I'm just like, I'll slap something up and then bring like the fire and the presence. I think I get that from my dad, and I'm like, let's roll. Although my dad, he does really honor preparation, and so do I, but tinkering is not like my skill set. It takes such patience, and I think it's something that our generation and our industry needs right now, is just this act of like slowly, meticulously chiseling away, tinkering with things, playing with things, really rethinking how you're structuring things, how you're writing things, how you're presenting your brand, how you're facilitating your offers, every inch of the business. Take the time to like play with it, to like really look at each piece of it, because that's how excellence comes forth. So we hope that this is an encouragement to you and it helps you see a fresh perspective, a new way to approach your business, to bring more life into your business, to the way that you're facilitating for your clients, to the way that you're marketing. And I hope that it leaves you with hope too, because yeah, it's a time where a lot of things are changing, but we have to learn to get so comfortable with change just as humans, but especially as entrepreneurs. Things are always changing, and it's not about resisting the current. It's just about embracing it and finding your own unique way to do that. Finding your own unique way to approach business in this entirely new season. But there's so much opportunity here. There's so much opportunity for you to set a new standard, for you to serve deeper, for you to really pierce through the noise and ultimately have a greater impact on people. Thanks for tuning in. We hope this blesses you. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next episode.